There's this young 22-year-old beautiful abortion rights activist named Olivia Juliana. She works with the DNC. They really highlighted her during the convention. They had her on camera. She was on stage. She works very closely with the DNC, but she's gone viral the last few days because she is their new secret weapon they're using to reach young men. We have a clip. Let's take a look and then discuss.
Don't actually spend time talking to young men. You know this because we know each other in real life, but I spend a lot of time on college campuses, and I spend a lot of time with
young men.
I love young men. I love frat guys, and in that I realized like even the ones that identify as conservative are almost always pro-choice. They're almost always pro-gay marriage. You'd be surprised at the number of them who supported Black Lives Matter. And so I feel like people just kind of lump them into this box when the truth is, again, a lot of them are with us on the issues. They're just not part of our coalition because they feel like they're not welcomed in.
Okay, Megyn, we have talked about this for years on the right. Somehow these folks at the DNC have decided in June of 2025, you know what? Men have left the Democratic Party. They've decided to wake up to this fact. Do you think the Democrats are in good hands with this woman at the helm? She says she goes to all these frat houses and young men are fired up about Black Lives Matter. I've never met a young man who is fired up about Black Lives Matter, Megyn.
Oh, I wonder what fraternities these could possibly be. Speaking on behalf of all Syracuse University graduates, there isn't one there that would be open-minded to Juliana coming in to discuss her views on abortion and BLM. I mean, this is ridiculous. Is this their answer? As Republicans and right-minded independents, I think we can heave a huge sigh of relief if this is the solution to their problem. I mean, this is so like, it's so funny to me that they need to study. They need to study young men to try to figure out how to speak to them. You know, the New York Times had that article where they were saying, we've got to take a hard look at the syntax Republicans are using in dealing with young men, because that's the way into their hearts. Well, why don't you stop saying you don't hire men? That, okay, like, we don't have to go all that deep. We don't need $20 million on a focus group. How about removing the effective sign from outside of all of corporate America that says, we don't hire white and we don't hire white men? That might really open up some avenues for you with voters. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd that they're spending time with this woman. And by the way, not for nothing, no offense to Juliana, but if you really want to make inroads with young college age men, I think you'd be hiring somebody who could be like on one of those commercials for the big hamburgers that used to be on the Super Bowl all the time. You're like, you need one of those girls who could have like a hose on her while she eats a big cheeseburger. I don't know why it works with the young men. Someone will have to explain it to me, but I know it does.
Mm-hmm. No, they need someone from like a Carl's Jr. Super Bowl commercial.
That's
like
what
I've been
Carl's
saying,
Jr.
it's always, I said this the other day on a show. These abortion activists who are saying we need more abortion clinics, more Planned Parenthoods, we are pro-choice, pro-choice, pro-choice. They never have any romantic prospects. They look like Chewbacca. No one's going near them. So I'm like, I think you're safe being an abortion rights activist. I think you are good. But you brought up this article that we saw last week in the New York Times, $20 million to study how young men speak. Why don't you go sit down and talk to Charlie Kirk? Why don't you actually talk to young men? I think young men are also tired of apologizing for their masculinity. And in the left, they just don't feel welcome. And you're raising young boys who are becoming men. What advice do you give to your young men as they're going out into the world? Because it's such a polarizing environment. Now, if you ask a girl out at the water cooler, she could turn around and say, you made me feel uncomfortable, right? It seems like there's this almost overcorrection now where a lot of guys don't feel comfortable doing anything.
No, I worry about that environment for them. I mean, they're still young. My kids are young, so they haven't yet had to cross these bridges. But I do worry about that stuff, like the crazy Me Too, googly-eyed women who think anybody who doesn't ask for permission before they lean in for a kiss is the equivalent of a Harvey Weinstein. I mean, these women are nuts. I mean, I would say to any mother or father of young boys, go on offense. If your son gets, any inkling that he's in a Me Too situation over a nothing burger like the one I just outlined, you got to go on offense. You should send your son first to the dean to say, I'm being wrongfully disparaged by this woman, saying to her friends on this or on the other thing after a completely consensual activity. I would never let somebody do that to my kid, and I don't think anybody should allow it to happen to theirs. I do think that the part of the huge problem the Democrats have with young men is the wokeism. And it's like the irony of her saying they're pro-BLM. That's bullshit. But by the way, if they're saying they're pro-BLM, they're literally just saying it. They're saying it because they've been told they have to say, okay, I'm pro BLM, and they have to post the black square on my Instagram or I'm canceled before I even get my first job. So she's too dumb to realize that it's just it's proactive. It's prophylactic. So secondly, I watch my kids go through this every other week at a non-woke school. Is Women's History Month, African American History Month, Native American History Month, Pride Month. Now we're in truly the kids are like, oh, they don't feel any of these things. They don't feel like I'm really super into Black history now. Tell me more about the great women of America and what they've done. They're like, and it's not just my kids who have, grown up with my husband and me being like that. It's all of them. They're all pretending. But these morons in the Democrat Party want to keep pushing it and, study syntax instead.
Right. I mean, I would love to see your son bring home a liberal girl with blue hair sometime. I would love to see the dinner table if they brought home a liberal. But you also mentioned something. I remember the night you endorsed President Trump, and we don't have a clip. I'm just thinking about this now. The night you endorsed President Trump, I remember you turned around to the guys in hard hats and you said, what kind of society can we have? How as women can we feel protected if our men are being beaten down and they're not being taken care of? And I thought that really encapsulated this issue with the Democratic Party right now. I think a lot of these guys, they're tired of seeing their girlfriends, their daughters, their wives having their bathrooms infiltrated or their sports teams infiltrated. You look at someone like Peyton McNabb, right? They are tired of seeing their girls getting beat up, and it's why they're leaving the Democratic Party, because they're tired of the nonsense. Don't you think that's a part of it, that they have this desire to protect the homeland, to protect the women in their lives, the guys who have balls?
Yes, last night, my kids are now on summer vacation, so we stayed up late on a Sunday night. We were watching Zero Dark 30. Remember the movie?
Oh, I love that movie. Yes,
it's
with Jessica
so
Chastain.
good. That shows how they caught Bin Laden, and it was. You look at that movie. Yes, it completely shows what a heroine this still unnamed CIA agent was, the female agent. So that's great. But like those badasses at the end when you've got like the Navy SEALs getting on board those Black Hawk helicopters. They weren't Black Hawks, but they were, stealth helicopters to go to Abbottabad. That's like badass, amazing, hot masculinity at its finest, right? Like those are men. And every man has that piece in him, that sort of the protector, fighter, don't F with me or my family or my country mentality. It gets beaten out of them by a woke, submissive, weird left that's decided to just that it's not attractive to be a true man anymore. Right. And I mean, no woman wants that. No, even gay man wants that, right? It's like, we miss our real men. So I think, yes. Right, like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like the more we encourage what's a natural instinct in virtually every single man alive, which is to be a protector, to be a fierce protector and a warrior, the better off we'll be. The better off the Democrat Party would be. But they've lost the ability to connect with that at all. Their entire thing is the weird Birkenstock-wearing, man bun, merce wearing guy who's super effeminate and in touch with his feelings, which is not attractive. And it's not attractive to be. It not only doesn't attract the opposite sex, it doesn't attract men to the party because they don't want to associate with that. It's incongruous with their own God-given instincts.
Absolutely. No, I think these men are just tired of apologizing. Their masculinity is toxic. If they try to explain something, they're mansplaining. If they're sitting comfortably, they're manspreading. There's always just this negative lean to everything on the left.